Hey folks, welcome back again. This is my money tree, you know, box store buy. I'm going to be repotting it into this guy right here. Now it's a much smaller pot, but I don't need this thing to get any thicker. If anything, I'd rather it be thinner. I'd love to get some air layering up here. So depending on how deep it is in this pot, pretty deep pot, I might end up just chopping the bottom off and trying to plant it all the way up there. First things first, we got to dump out all of this old soil, which I'm hoping I can get on camera. See if when I hold it there, yeah. Well, here you guys can see it all. Actually, decent soil in here. Not upset about the soil I put in. Another pot I can use for something that needs to grow a little bit better. I think you can see these roots will fit in here quite nicely. I may not be able to plant it as deep as I'd like, but that'll be something that we will have to figure out in just a couple moments here. I apologize, I didn't have my task lighting up to the task. So, not a lot of roots. It's been there for about, I don't know, 6 months. But it has this terrible reverse taper, which I don't think I'll be able to fix until I get higher up roots. I did try kind of carving here to see if I got any roots coming out of there. Did not. I don't know the ground layers work too nice on money trees. Love to try one, but in the meantime, I'm just not cutting anything off that I don't need to. All right. That is kind of that. It's sad. I've got kind of a nice radial root base at the bottom and absolutely nothing above that as far as girth. You can see just how bad the reverse taper is on this. And I don't think it would look good with that much reverse taper. Oh, it looks silly. It needs to be all the way in. So here's what we're gonna do. Oh, that's my screen there. I thought I had a screen in this one. Don't know what happened to it, but there was a screen, I'm fairly certain. I'm gonna grab my little skizzers. I'm going to do some cutting. Make sure I get into this pot. The one thing that is kind of comforting about the shape of this, you all can still see, is that this is nice and radial, yes, but these are also kind of opposite each other. And if I plant this right, I'm hoping, yeah, so I can have those in. So I'll be burying it even more. I think it's a great fit, honestly. It's funny, but it's great. I'm going to do is I'm going to try to, oh man, I don't want to cut the whole bottom off this thing, but I kind of want to cut the whole bottom off this thing. All right. Oh man, this is going to be painful to think about. All my roots down here are actually really great as far as like being radial, but this is impossible. All right, I'm gonna play it safe just to make sure I don't kill the darn thing right off the bat. Grab my shell. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. I'm gonna use my good bonsai soil for this one. Just a little bit of this Fuller's Earth kitty litter at the bottom. Of course, I'm not going to tie it in. You guys know I won't. I never do. Let me grab the whole thing real quick. Oof. In fact, I should have this. Here we go. Might get the bottom of this dirty, but that is okay. I'm not worried about getting a little dirty. Ooh, even stands up on its own. It's really heartbreaking that it's got such a nice radial root spread down low. Considering just how terrible that trunk is. I mean, this is a miserable trunk, but that's a box store thing now, isn't it? I'm just having like the worst trunk. All right, that's full enough for me to kind of sort in some of this. I do think that, this will require some pretty major work later, but time being, I do want to keep its vigor. It will go outside soon, so it'll grow a lot. Maybe it'll grow roots without me having to, any damage to the actual trunk, even though I don't want to keep that part of the trunk. I know that these also aren't really easy to I don't know. It's just a funny one. I think I'm just kind of muttering because I'm so unhappy with how it's shaped still, and how, even though the roots are healthy looking, they're just not what I want. And sometimes, trees end up being houseplants as opposed to bonsais. I know this is kind of a nice pot for a houseplant, but I don't mind using a nice pot for a houseplant. And it really kind of is a miniature tree. It's just not any kind of style that I would have picked for bonsai. It's almost in that kind of baobab style. Make sure you're focused in nice, or nice enough. It's just not quite there. All right. And after I just spilled a whole bunch, I'm gonna I think I've got enough in here. Just gotta do it real quick. Sorry if I'm lifting it out of the field of vision. It's just easier to maneuver since I had to cut down my skewer. I will say this is probably still my favorite repotting tool, although, little weird thing. I know a lot of people, at least the buzz on some internet forums, and I haven't actually seen it as much here on YouTube, where we're all fellow content creators. Excuse me. That there's a really cool root rake out there that someone has, and it's very unique, and it's very shapely, and the end of it is really nice for, we all know who I'm talking about. The end of it's really nice for potting stuff up, and the other end has just got really nice rounded, smooth, four like this, and they're spread real wide. And I mean, the guy's a master, so it's not that using it is any different from him using any other tool, but you can tell that that's a really well designed tool. So that is one that I think I figured out how I can duplicate it. It's not to say that that's how he made it, but if I can duplicate it, I'll be really happy. So here is our weird, now probably more of a houseplant, money tree. I'm pleased with what it looks like potted up. It's not the prettiest thing on the planet, but neither am I. So, just don't get too close. That's all I gotta say about that. It is a kind of funky style, but I was able to plant a little bit deeper. I'll go ahead and get this watered up. I'll fertilize it in a couple weeks here. It's pretty stiff in there. I don't think it's going anywhere. Not that I would have wired it anyways, but we'll see what this growing season does to it. Who knows, maybe it'll thicken up a little bit, but that was 2 money trees in 2 episodes, and this one was just, a quick repot. Gives me a lot more room in here too. I still have the cutting that's going to need to be repotted, but I think this was the right fit for this particular. It almost looks like bamboo the way it is now, Well, thanks for watching, and have a great night.